tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I'm so glad we're using this song. I love it. So good. So fitting. Well, welcome everyone to AfterBuzz TV. This is The Royals After Show, episode 4. It was titled Sweet, Not Lasting. And I am your host, Megan Stecher. You guys can tweet along with us at the hashtag ABTVRoyals. I am on Twitter at Megan Stecher, and I am joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hi guys, Traci here.
And this is Fern Ronay.
So, ladies, let's get started. When we just got here, when we were getting ready for the show, we were saying how much we liked this episode because a lot happened, as in previous weeks, but it seemed a lot more put together. Maybe one or two storylines going together, not 8 million, and not so much jumping back and forth all over the place. It was a little easier to follow. So all in all, we thought it was a great episode. Yes.
Agreed.
So Fern, you were just saying something that we were like, oh my gosh, you're right. Tell everybody what we were just talking about.
Before the music went on, I was like, has every episode started with Eleanor in bed? And I think it has.
I think you're right. I can't remember exactly the very first scene of the first episode, but I think we do every episode start with her in bed.
I think so. We're on to you, Mark, and we like it.
Super cute. Well, speaking of Eleanor being in bed, we do wake up with Eleanor in bed. She's waking up attached to a vitamin drip from a doctor. She's apparently, let me get his name right, the Crown Prince of Liechtenstein. She's just hosted a party at the palace while everyone else is away on the plane tour. So, do we think anything crazy went on with the Crown Prince of Liechtenstein the night before?
Absolutely not. Pretty sure it went down.
She said, who knew he could throw him back?
True. Well, at least he didn't wake up in her bed.
Right.
True.
Because everyone else does.
That's true.
But, so, everyone goes on the plane tour. It's basically Liam's chance to show the country who he is, what he's going to bring to the table as king, kind of drum up his popularity with the people. When we get on the plane, first things first, the Queen invites Gemma along. What did you guys think was going to happen the minute you saw Gemma?
She's just the most conniving, and her and the Queen are just in cahoots together. So, of course, she's just going to keep reminding him that she's the only one and that he's going to end up with her. So I knew she was going to kind of throw her body around and tempt him a little bit, but it was not expected. So
yeah, got it. And she's a fun evil character to hate, like the Queen and Cyrus. They're deliciously evil.
They are deliciously evil. One thing I thought was funny was that Cyrus said, or the Queen was telling Liam, act right, look right. You can't be super dressed up when we're going out into the country to shake hands. And she's like, look, Robert wore the wrong socks one time, and those were all the news. And Cyrus's comment was, well, do you think it was the man wearing them?
Maybe it had more to do with the man wearing them.
So
his dead nephew.
Right. I was shocked.
Jerk.
Do you think it has a deeper meaning?
It might. Cyrus might be responsible for killing him. Who knows when we'll find that out, but...
Yeah. Traci, did you I kind of felt maybe that's what was going on.
I mean, I've already predicted that the family has something to do with Robert's death. So, maybe they are just kind of feeding us breadcrumbs on, that was easy not to catch though. So I feel or you could have just not thought into it,
Right.
But I don't know. Because we'll see.
Ooh,
it was very easy not to catch. I had to go back. I was like, what did she say?
Yeah.
Was it
Same.
Did she say Robert or the king? She said Robert, yeah.
I know we've said a lot. It's hard to catch everything with their accents.
Yeah.
So it's better to watch with the subtitles on, which I didn't this week. So it was a little harder. I had to go back and rewind some things. So they do make really quick under the breath comments that you kind of don't catch all the time.
Yeah.
Us slow Americans.
Can't Jersey girls over here.
Can't catch everything. All right, so doing the plane tour, they land at the first stop, and the Queen had told him, stick to the script, don't make a joke, and you also can't talk about things like religion or politics, etc., hot button issues. And then he makes a fool out of himself at the first stop. Were you dying when he thought the woman was pregnant?
It showed his age.
Okay.
That's the first thing I thought is, he's, 21. I'm like, he's showing his age completely. Kind of lost for words. Like, have you thought of a name yet? Thinking he's being so charming when really, the rudest thing he could have possibly said. So that's the first thing I thought is he's just showing how green he is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Exactly.
Oh, my God. And the moldy cheese. It's about time to throw it out.
That was kind of funny. But
because of the mold. I cannot. Well, also, while this is going on, Eleanor, Princess E, she needs to be doing a charity tour. So the Queen's head, I'm not sure the title of that woman, the head woman of the Queen, whatever we call her. I don't know, royal engagement, something. Rachel. So Rachel calls, FaceTimes Princess and said, hey, we need to capitalize off of your good press from Fashion Week. Why don't you go do a charity tour while they're on the plane tour? And she said, well, I'm not going to do it unless I can do one of Robert's charities. So I just couldn't get over how she had to be so chemically medicated the whole time.
It was E for the old people. I
loved it.
Junk for the animals or something. Yeah. Something
so she got drunk before visiting the children's charity.
Yeah. That was great. Did anyone else like their mother?
Oh my God.
No, I loved when she was on E at the elderly nursing home. That was so funny. I was dying. She's like, your hair's cotton candy. And so happy. But they seemed like they were kind of loving it. They're just so enthused by her being there. So she pretty much, I think it put her in a better mood that she would have normally been, just her royal rude self. So I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. And actually the photos that came out of it, she got good press from it. I guess no one realized.
Hugging old people and
she was high out of her mind. I don't know. Well, and then she started drinking before the children's charity and told all the children her mother was a cow and she's had some work done.
If you know what I mean.
and then she's like, well, who else hates their mother here?
No, that was hilarious. Great. The kids are like, none of them have any idea how to respond to this.
None. So the whole time we see Jasper basically really caring about her and her image. Do you guys think it more has to do with he has some kind of dastardly plan that he needs to keep his job?
Right, he can't get sacked
and can't get fired.
Making a fool of herself.
Right, or do you think it's caring about her?
I think both. I think we're seeing that he cares about her more and more, and she kind of likes him too. And I think it's more of that than he doesn't want to get fired.
True.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I noticed about him this episode was his face was always the same. He barely had any expressions. Did you guys notice that? Because before he's but he was very stern. No matter what she was doing, he had the same stern expression. And when usually he's been and saying things and smirking or whatever. It was just very interesting this episode. I just felt like I saw a different side of him.
Yeah, and that's consistent with him being I'm starting to like this girl and I can't screw over.
Right.
Yeah. And also being more of security and showing that stern face in public rather than the whole dastardly one eyebrow raised side of him that we've seen a lot. He's the British Jasper, not the American Jasper.
Because in the beginning he was oh yes, Highness, Majesty, couldn't even get himself together, and now he's he's in the role. So this was the first episode I felt he was okay, I'm taking him seriously now in everything that he's doing.
Yes.
Excellent job, Jasper.
Didn't she say in your interview that that the relationship is going to take a turn that no one expects?
Yes, we asked her about that. Yeah, no, that's what I predicted. I predicted that they're going to have a relationship together. And so we asked her kind of without telling us too much. And she was just it's not what you expect, or maybe it is, and you predicted it. So she said something is going to happen between the two of them, but we don't know what yet.
Well, I thought it was sad when she stole the puppy from the animal shelter, and then he's stop the car, and he handed the puppy back, and she's like, no, Prince Rufus. That was the cutest part of the whole strange and kind of sad charity tour that she's on. But back to the plane tour, the Queen actually takes a picture of Liam and Gemma on her iPad and gets it sent to the press. So all of a sudden, worldwide, are photos of him that are saying, just propose already. So he gets very upset about this and storms off to the Queen. What did you guys think of that whole situation? Is he getting anywhere with his mom or not really?
I don't know.
No. No, I don't think
no.
so. Yeah, I mean, I think they're both pretty headstrong. And the hardest thing about this is it's not like an arranged marriage. It's like he really did have really deep feelings for her. And then we find out she left him for Ryan Reynolds and broke his heart. And like he was devastated. So it's kind of hard, you know, when someone betrays your trust like that to give him a second chance. And we're seeing him like resist. But I don't know how long he's going to be able to with all of this pressure and knowing she knows how to carry herself. You know, he knows that she could play the part. And I think that's what's so difficult for him.
Yeah, and they had that conversation about that. So, Fern, what did you think?
I don't know. I just feel like Gemma she's just evil. She's not a nice girl. And I think he likes Ophelia. And he was obviously upset later when he sees the picture of her with Nick. So I just think he would resist even if she were a nice, like, you know, she hurt him. She came back, maybe she changed her ways. He still wouldn't want to be with her. You know, he's just
interesting.
You think?
I don't know.
Well, it's going one of two. That's
true.
And I think she realizes that.
Yeah.
And what brings Ophelia into this episode is her seeing the photos of Gemma and Liam together and being upset. So she's almost kind of forcing this new thing with Nick now.
Yeah.
To be like, you know what? If he wants to show off his whatever's going on with Gemma, I'm going to show off what's going on with Nick. So Nick has told her, you know what, like, let's go hang out on my side of town with my friends and in my world, and like maybe you'll feel differently about me, and maybe it'll be a fair fight because, you know, we kind of don't belong in this whole royal world. I don't know. Do you guys think Nick's playing it straight? I still don't trust this guy.
Really? I feel like I don't like any of their scenes together. They obviously don't. Their characters. I'm talking about them like they're real people. I'm like, they have no chemistry. They don't like each other. She likes the prince likes her. It's just like we're like biding our time until they get together again.
It was okay. So I
lay it down, Tracy. Lay it down.
Their relationship is just a very, very like off one for me. I can't quite put my finger on it if he actually is pursuing her for the right reasons and if she's resisting for the right reasons. But the one thing, obviously, that was completely just annoyed me was watching him stroll through the palace looking for her by himself, unaccompanied. No security. And she's like, where are you? Oh, this painting? Oh, turn around. I'm like, really? This is not, like, this would not happen. Like, that was like their first date. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with this right now. Like, this was just, and then you see a tour come through. I'm like, what, did he wander off from the tour? I don't know. But as far as them as a couple, I think it's going to be very short-lived. I really don't see them going anywhere, prospering, or anything like that. For her, it's just buying time, and for him, who knows what his ulterior motive is? Hasn't come out yet, but I don't take them seriously.
You think he is an evil? His character's evil?
I think there's an ulterior motive there. Like, I don't trust that he's like the musician from school.
And he'd never heard of her, like you said in the last episode. He didn't know right? Or he didn't know she was Coffee Girl.
Yeah, he didn't know in the media.
Know
yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, but I'm in all your classes. I'm doing all the music in all of your dance classes. It's like, okay. And you just conveniently grabbed her from behind a door while she was being chased by paparazzi.
Yeah. Ooh, and they're posting all that stuff together on social media. Like, there's a post of her and him kissing. She posted, then someone posted of them almost kissing.
Right.
So, like, that can be kind of...
Someone took a picture of them in the club, but
video.
Who took that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it's Coffee Girl. Maybe she got recognized for being Coffee Girl.
True.
But it said Francesca posted a photo of
Francesca.
So Francesca might be Nick's friend, and they're in it together to, like, blackmail them, or who knows.
That's true. I don't trust him. And now that she's shown him the tunnels, when they snuck away when the tour passed them by, and she's like, blah, 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 I'll show you around. And, like, she sneaks into the tunnels from the hallway. And now he knows where the tunnels lead.
Now Nick knows where to tell Francesca to plant the bomb.
Right.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
So like none of this would really happen. I think was that what bothered you?
Yes.
Is like he would never been wandering around the palace alone.
Yes.
He would have never known where these secret passages were. She would have never shown him.
Correct.
Yeah. It kind of irked me too.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, oh God. First it was her roaming the halls, and we got over that.
Yeah.
We're like, fine, Ophelia, roam away. And now it's this strange guy, Nick. So I'm like, no. No.
Ay. Well, back to the plane tour. Things aren't going so great. Liam kind of made a fool of himself at the first stop. And he kind of has an interesting talk with Gemma in saying, how do you always know what to say to make me like you and kind of want you again is the gist of what he's telling her. And she's like, well, I do this and I say that if people don't want my body. And I try to know how to make people like me, but you have a real natural charisma and that can't be taught. And I guess this kind of changes his mindset because they go to a second stop and he's actually kind of really popular. He actually hits it off.
He took her advice to just be himself.
He did. What did you guys think of? I got really nervous when he was kind of trying to egg on the guy who was a different soccer team fan than him. Yeah. I got super nervous that I was like, oh my gosh, why is he talking to that guy that way? That's like, if the press picks up on that. Right. Did you guys think anything crazy was going to happen or you thought it was fine?
No, yeah, I thought he was just trying to like connect on a different level and be himself, which before he'd been trying to put on this facade, and now he's like, you know what? I'm going to do this my way. And I think that's what he did differently on the second stop. They went to the pub, which I don't know about that, but I mean,
that's another thing that I'm like, would that right?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, when he started that conversation, I was like, oh my God, he takes her advice, he's himself, and his mother's gonna get mad. But then she was kind of inspired.
Yeah. You know what? I actually thought the pub scene could be something that could happen.
Yeah.
Like with the royal families. I don't know.
Maybe.
With the real royal families. I don't know. Because I could see Prince Harry being like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe not Prince William was probably never allowed to do stuff like that. But Harry's known to be like...
Right, naked in Vegas. Yeah.
Right.
Right,
That's
just
all
like
I
a
think
fun
of.
party boy.
Yeah.
So I can see him like with a ton of security going to like a local pub and being like, oh, look, we're all having a beer together. We're all the same.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy.
That's true.
The royal family's good.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the shoe place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right after.
So the queen takes off to go see the
Cows.
the sick cows. But
I
meanwhile,
like that too. She was called a cow by her daughter, and then she goes to
oh,
see the cows. It's all
bringing
symbolic.
bringing it all back around. And I wonder what it means over there when you call your mom a cow. If it means anything different than here.
I think it just means like a horrible person. I don't think it means like she's fat and ugly. I think it just means, she's obviously not. I think it just means she's a horrible
Well,
person.
because here in America, if you call it some a cow, it probably has something to do with their weight.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so it means she's just like a terrible woman.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into that.
Evil.
But so the queen is taken off to go visit the sick cows and the farmer. And Liam has a pint too many, goes to the water closet, stumbles out and stumbles into somehow a place where they're making riding saddles for polo, specifically for polo. And the townsman, this young man, says like, I'll never make them as good as my dad, but I'm 5th generation and it's just what's expected of me. So I thought it was a really sweet moment where they're looking at like duty versus what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like what you want to, your passion versus the family business.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which Liam said he gets.
Yeah.
Did you think that was like a super cheesy moment or?
No, I loved it.
You did?
Yeah. I felt like it didn't matter, royal, not royal, who you are. You just want to do what you want to do and not be forced to spend your time doing something you don't want to do. It's human nature. So it was a relatable moment.
I agree. Very relatable. Very like in the moment they were kind of having this bond connection thing, and it was very chill. Like he walks in, the guy stands up and he's like, no, sit down, like you're good. And I thought it was chill. It was, I guess you could be like, okay, it's kind of cheesy, but it was very like relatable.
I think that Eleanor kind of had a moment like that when she went to the rehab. So it was going to be her final charity stop of the week, and she was just about to snort some cocaine off of Jasper's keys, and he said, I just wanted to remind you this is Robert's charity. So she's a little frustrated, but she decides not to do any drugs. And I think that she wanted to do them because it looks like while she's there, she's kind of coming down off of something. And maybe she needs to even herself out or get back up to where she was. I don't do drugs, so I don't know these things. But
I think it was like a respectful thing. Like, she did something before every other charity, and then before Robert, she's like, I'm not going to go in there on anything. Like, she had said earlier, I'm not going to go on something. And then she grabbed a drink. She's like, I need a drink.
But
this time, she was like, I'm not going to do that. Out of respect for Robert's charity.
So she is approached by a young woman, it seems in like a drug rehab program. And they're supposed to have like a little one-on-one time. And this woman marches right up to the princess and says like, I'm talking to her. And she says, it's okay, cool, it's cool, I'll talk to her. And this young woman immediately notices that Princess Eleanor is on something. Or is coming down off of something. And then they have this super relatable moment where it seems like Eleanor is relating to this young woman's story of a careless mother leaving her out in the cold. Did you guys think that that's what was happening with her, or she just felt bad for the girl in the way that she felt bad for all the other people in the charities?
Mirror images of each other, except one's a princess and one is not. Yeah,
right.
They were mirrors. They had the same essence. They just look different. Yeah.
The part I liked the best with that whole conversation was when she was like, oh yeah, you're feeding your addiction with all the taxpayers' money. And Eleanor responds like, oh, from your job? Because obviously this girl, and it was like kind of a touche moment. Like they're both kind of like judging each other. And, I loved that part of it. I was like, oh, tell her.
Yeah. Well, what did you guys think? Because the end of the conversation was Princess Eleanor telling her like, well, maybe if you can get over what your mother did to you, that will help you.
Yeah. She said like, how your mother treated you is not your fault, and once you realize that, you'll be free.
Yeah.
She should take her own advice.
Yeah. Right. It might have been an epiphany.
Right. Okay. Because I wanted to know what you guys thought of her having such a good outlook and knowing that would help that girl, but she doesn't know how to help herself.
Yeah.
I mean, so you felt like she was having an epiphany at the moment.
Yeah, I felt like it could have been an epiphany, and she maybe saw herself in this girl's shoes if she wasn't royalty. And just being like, wow, you know what? Like, if I can get over this, I can do this. She can get over this. She can, just kind of an epiphany type thing. Like, Eleanor's been like, woe is me this whole time. And it's kind of like, girl, it's not just you. There's a lot of people in your same situation, but just not your privileges. So I think it was a very aha moment for her.
Yeah. And she, we've discussed how she's so hard on herself, Eleanor, and then she's kind of talking to this girl who's like a mirror image of her in a way. And she, instead of, how, I just think I get the feeling that Eleanor probably has a lot of negative self-talk, that she not very confident. And when she spoke to this girl, it was like her speaking to herself in a nice way. Like, this is how you help yourself to herself.
Yeah, I love that.
I do too. I can totally see that.
I don't know, it just came to me, but I think
I can totally see that.
But so after she visits this last charity, she goes home and does snort coke, which she held off doing before visiting the charity. So when she gets home, she does do that. And then she tells Jasper to come take advantage of her. Which was different from earlier in the episode where she threw a blanket over herself and didn't want him to take advantage of her. And she said, well, and he said, do you want that? And she said, who would want any of this? Meaning like her entire life, her lifestyle. She doesn't want to be herself, what she was born into, and hid under the blanket. And then I thought it was strange when she had like this beautiful moment with that young girl, which seemed like it could have helped herself. And she went home and got high anyway, and then told Jasper she wanted to have sex with him and let it happen. I had no idea what that meant. Do either of you have a take on?
No clue.
Okay.
She's just an emotional cutter. Like, she's just one of those people where I just think, like, literally as soon as she starts to get better, she self-destructs, starts to get better. I think it's like a vicious cycle, And, Robert being the last charity she saw, and she's like, you know what? This world is so, like, messed up. And then, like, just come take advantage. Like, she's just so over her life. And I just see her as an emotional cutter. When she gets upset, she doesn't have the tools to make it better. She only knows how to self-destruct. So I think that's what she does. She doesn't know how to take a step in the right direction.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And maybe no one's ever showed her in her family. Like, she has lots of bad examples and hardly any good. I mean, I guess the king's a really good example for her. And I don't remember where he was this whole episode. Did they mention him?
No.
Hardly at all. Yeah. Oh, and then her mother kept saying, you're nothing. Remember, like, what, or was that
last
episode?
week? Yeah.
You're nothing. So this girl's being told she's nothing.
Yeah.
So even when she, like you say, makes a step forward, then she just goes back into the old habits of just hating herself and letting herself be abused by, using alcohol, using drugs, being abused by this guy.
And he keeps asking her, like, is this what you want? Which he hasn't done before, and it doesn't actually show him doing it. He tells her to take off her dress and da-da-da-da, but he doesn't, like, doesn't show them actually doing anything. So I'm interested if the next episode's going to start with, like, he did nothing. Or, you know what I mean? That he didn't actually go through with it or something, but...
Well, we'll have to see if it starts in her bed and whether or not if he's there. Exactly. Or if he previously was there. That would be interesting. Speaking of the horrible queen, which has messed up Eleanor beyond all belief in the head, she went to visit. She did something that she thought was making her look fabulous and positive, and I think as a viewer I thought, oh my god, one redeeming quality of the queen, she's going to do one nice thing this year.
Yes.
So she goes to visit this farmer with the farmer's little daughter, and
says she grew up on a cow farm just like this.
No, look, I grew up on a farm just like this, and now I'm the queen. You know, the typical like celebrity line of, your dreams can come true too. You can be anything you want to be, even the president of the United States. Like over in England, I guess it's like, you could even be the queen of England. So she says, I grew up on a farm just like this, blah, blah, blah. The farmer runs up. It's the sweet mom who's like, oh, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it to the appearance. My cows are all very sick. And she's like, I heard. So what's making the cows sick is there's a whiskey distillery right down the way that is dumping chemicals. They changed the way they were making their whiskey all these generations when the sun has taken over recently. They're dumping all these chemicals into the stream, which the cows are getting from the groundwater, making them sick. So the queen decides to go over to the distillery owner and have a nice little chat. She offers him something of worth to him. Right. Now this is like the queen we know who's like, look, in favor for this, I'm going to give you that. So she wants him to go back to the old distilling ways, and she wants to make, and the press is not even there also. So I thought, oh my God, she's going to do something nice.
I thought it was a nice offer.
Yeah. And so she wants to make the whiskey, the official whiskey for the next, was it three palace events. And he tells her what is up. So he has the nerve to say to her, guess what? Because your taxes are so high, or because my taxes are so high from paying for your lingerie, I'm going to tell you what a spoiled brat you are and tell you no, because you have no real power. And I forgot that about her. Did you guys forget that they kind of have no power?
Yes, I wrote that down. I literally wrote powerless, and then I wrote /repercussions. So then that was what I was thinking. As soon as it happened, I'm like, yeah, he pretty much can talk to her like this and do this. Like, is he gonna get punished? Like, what are the repercussions for speaking to the queen like this? Because you see her eat it and walk away. Mm-hmm. You know, she doesn't respond.
Right.
And so I'm like, did she just like take one, or like what? Can she do any? Is he gonna be arrested? Like we find out, but
yeah.
I was thinking that, I'm like, all right, he can't be beheaded anymore, and she has no real power. He's right, but yeah, you don't piss off the queen.
Yeah.
Well, it's an offer he shouldn't have refused.
Exactly. Well, let's go. Skipping right to the end of the show, we see her watching the news, and the distillery is burning down. So she got her revenge on that distillery owner. Don't piss off the queen.
What did he think, though? Like, I'm not trying to take her side, and absolutely it's like the most horrific thing to do, but what did he think was going to happen? Like, did he really think that was going to be the end of it, and he has a story for the books to tell everyone how he told off the queen? Like, that's all I kept thinking. I was like, okay, like, something has to happen to him. You can't speak to not only the queen, but this queen like that, you know?
I think, like, maybe he thought, like, finally, for years and years, like when the shoe guy stood up and he was all nervous to meet the prince, I'm like, do people really act like that anymore? They have no real power. Yeah, they're celebrities, but you don't have to technically bow to him. And I just thought it was a little odd. I wonder if people still do that. And then when this guy told her off, I'm like, yes, that's probably how it is. They're probably sick and tired of these people that are buying $50,000 lingerie. And I was like, kind of good for him. Mm-hmm. And then when his distillery burned to the ground, I was like, he probably didn't know. He just knows her as a figurehead. He doesn't know what we know. He doesn't know she's evil. Mm-hmm. And who knows if he'll ever find out if it was her that burned it. So I don't know. I was like, kind of good for him. That's probably how it is. Like, there are probably people who want to tell them off, and he did it. And he's not going to get beheaded. But it was,
that was
a
probably,
financial
like,
beheading.
Yeah, that was awful. Like, that, I mean, and I'm sure he did 2 + 2 and figured it out. But
I think it's just another thing to show us how devious this queen is. Like, you think you know her, and then it gets worse.
Like, she's not just a bitch to her kid. She's like an evil.
She's an evil person. She's an
evil queen.
She has somebody going and doing all of her dirty work for her. That is for sure.
And Cyrus knew all about it.
I know.
They're so in cahoots together.
So while she's watching on the news that the distillery's burnt down, she also sees that Liam got great press from the plane tour, and Cyrus enters right then and starts talking about the numbers with her. So he's like, oh my gosh, I got back the numbers from our secret poll. So it's apparently that 45% of the country feels that they are pro-abolishing the monarchy. It jumps to 55% when they realize that the king would want it. And then people are on the fence about Liam being a good king. So that's when the queen reveals this line that has my head spinning, wondering, oh my gosh, what does this mean? We can't put all of our eggs in Liam's basket. And Cyrus is like, yeah, I totally agree. And then we see immediately he's like running through the secret passages, looking at his watch. I have no idea what that means. Do either of you have any kind of a guess as to what that line means and where Cyrus is going?
No.
I think it means we have to get him to marry Gemma because she'll be a great queen.
Okay.
So maybe
really?
he's running to, I don't know where. Running to find Gemma? I don't know.
Because if it's not Liam, then who, like...
It would immediately go to Eleanor, because the queen did say, the queen got a little alert that she got great press too that week. And she's like, oh, look, if only she had been born 4 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
So we found out in the last episode that they're twins, which we never knew. And it was brought up again in this episode. Gosh, does that mean the queen actually thinks that Eleanor would be a better queen than Liam a king?
I don't know. I think it means they want him to marry not Ophelia and someone who'll be popular with the people and keep the monarch going, and who'll be as devious as her when you have to keep it going. I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But where is he running to? I have no idea.
Yeah, like...
Well, the secret passages go all the way to Hyde Park is the only thing we know. So I don't know who might be in Hyde Park waiting for him, or who might also be down in the tunnel. See, I'm worried because Nick now knows where these tunnels are and where they go. And I'm like, is Nick hired by... I'm wondering if Nick was hired by, like, the Queen and Cyrus to be a distraction to Ophelia and get Ophelia away from Liam.
Mind blown.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering.
Maybe they want Nick to get Ophelia pregnant, and then she's just totally out, and she'll never be queen. That's bloody American.
Dastardly.
I don't know.
Well, she did kind of rebuff him. They went to that weird, like, silent dance party thing where you have to wear headphones just like these to be hearing the music.
Yeah, it's like they all look like AfterBuzz.
Called the nerve. Yeah.
A friend of mine told me they went to a party where your headphones had different color lights on the side, and there was like 4 or 5 different songs playing. You could change your headphones to be whatever song you'd like out of the 4 or 5 choices. And if you went up to someone and you kind of want to dance with them, you got to make sure you're all in the same song. So you got to look at the color on their headphones.
So fun.
And I was like, very cool. That sounds really cool. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, I think I kind of like, I've heard of these parties. I know what they're doing. So she pulls away when he kisses her right on the mouth. So before she had kissed him on the cheek and taken a picture herself. This time he kisses her on the mouth. She pulls away. It's all a bit too much and too fast for her. He kind of just disappears into the crowd like, I know you like Liam more. I'll come back when you are ready. But I still think he might have been hired by Cyrus.
Wow, yeah, maybe.
That's why, who wants someone else kissing on Instagram?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's, you're right, like the perfect like thing, and then it was done, but they had what they like. You're right, there might be like a whole thing going on. I don't know, because I'm not going to be posting someone else kissing on my
here's
Instagram.
my friend almost kissing his new girlfriend.
Yeah,
That's
like,
weird.
Well, so Liam, I guess he's both photos. And so what really ties up the whole episode and ends it is that he goes straight to Ophelia's apartment. And I think Ophelia was hoping, and as viewers we were hoping, he's coming to say like, I like you more. Don't worry, the Gemma was on this tour with me. Mom set it all up. But he showed up kind of jealous and gave her did a typical guy move, gave her 2 tickets to the masquerade, and I'm sure she was hoping that she was being invited as his guest, but he's like, here's 2 tickets for you and your boyfriend. Because Gemma had used it. I feel like she planted it in his mind because she saw him on his phone and she called that guy her boyfriend. She called
she
Nick
said her
Ophelia's
boyfriend is pretty cute. Yeah.
Did you guys think he was coming to invite her, or were you?
I was hoping.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna come have a conversation with her, and then like he pulls out. But he wasn't like snarky when he gave her the tickets. He wasn't like, here's tickets for you and like your boyfriend. Bye. Like he was very like. Did he seem genuine? I felt like he seemed genuine. Did I miss something?
I feel like because we know from his perspective that he was jealous because he got upset when he saw that it was kind of a dig. Like, bring your boyfriend.
Me too. I felt the way he said your boyfriend kind of was like.
Okay, I missed that.
But maybe he said it even tone and we're just interpreting because we know what he's thinking. I don't know. I have to watch it again.
I thought he was very like. I thought he was very accepting of the. That's how I saw. Like, I'm different, whatever. But it's like I felt like he was accepting it. Like, here's 2 tickets for you. Bring your boyfriend. Like. Kind of like a peace offering is kind of how I felt.
Okay.
But I can see both sides
like
completely.
He's accepting that she
Like
I lost her. She's got a boyfriend now.
He knows that she's seen like him and Gemma. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like he's like, all right, like I've seen you and your boyfriend. I know about like here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and he could be like, I blew this. Like the press blew it for me. Thanks a lot. Bring your boyfriend.
Kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, I think I was taking it kind of like Fern was, where he was kind of like jealous.
Right.
So he was just kind of being like,
no, I see both.
Bring your new boyfriend that I had to find out about on Instagram, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Is how I felt. I don't know. But I guess that is the fun of this show, is that we never really know what the character truly means or what's going to happen next week.
Yes.
Never.
I think that's everything that happened this week.
Know,
So why don't
such a good
we
episode.
get into predictions for next week?
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Alrighty, Fern, start us off.
I predict we see King Simon for more than 3 seconds.
Okay, great. The return. The return of him.
And, those cousins crack me up. They're funny. They'll be ridiculous at the party. That's what I predict. I predict one of them will get drunk. We'll see one of theirs underwear. Who knows? Someone will end up upside down. That's my prediction. The cousins will go crazy.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if she's going to show up to this party by herself and just be like, no, that was not my boyfriend, and kind of play that side, or if she's going to show up with him and the prince and him are going to have an exchange. So that's not really a prediction, but those are like what I'm wondering for the next episode. I'm interested to find out about.
Did we see in the preview? The previews are always so fast.
It was so
I didn't
fast,
see,
but
yeah.
I thought when I saw his face that he was at the masquerade, like in a
I thought
tux.
too, but I could be wrong.
Okay,
They
so-
go,
I know,
they go too fast.
It's
They
so
can't see.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that they edit them, it's like whoosh, whoosh,
Yeah.
just flashes, quick
Yeah.
flashes. So
If he does go, I think that him and the prince are going to get into a little like scuffle.
yes, because they haven't been face to face yet. That would be so exciting.
Yeah.
The prince
Well-
flips the table.
So what I do remember from seeing the previews for next week is that Gemma's trying to talk Liam out of liking Ophelia at all. She's like, the press is going to eat her alive. Like, your mom hates her, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that Gemma does go with the prince, or at least is invited and acts as if she's his guest. It's going to be one of those two things. And I think that Ophelia does bring Nick in hopes that maybe it'll make Liam jealous. And I think that it's definitely going to be Liam longing after her. And we did get a quick thing of him saying, like, you don't think you belong in my world, but I can't imagine my world without you in it. So maybe they will, like, officially be dating or something as of that moment next week. I don't know. Will she accept his little plea, or will she be like, no, I don't belong. This is too much. I can't.
Dun, dun,
I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
But at least it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be another episode where we're focused on 1 or 2 big events and everything's revolving around that. Because I liked that about this week, that everything seemed a little more gelled and polished. And
Yeah.
we're knowing who people are this
Yeah.
week. Yay.
I love
And
this
I hope the cousins are back too.
Yeah, they're fun.
Hilarious. Alrighty. Well, I guess that does it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with episode 5 of The Royals, and we'll be discussing little ties in of all these literary hints that have been dropped to us that we really haven't talked about yet. So we'll talk about that next week. Thanks for joining us. If you guys want to tweet us after the show to talk about everything, it's #ABTV Royals. Fern, where can they find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Fern Ronay on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And you can find me on Instagram at TRACIPRO or on Twitter at TRACIABTV.
And I am on Twitter and Instagram at Megan Stecher. It's MEGANSTECHER. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.